Hello, I'm Donna Palizzi, and I'm wild about Washington. The salmon are now in Puget Sound, and thousands of Washington citizens can put this delicacy on their table without even traveling far from home. It's one of the reasons we like it here.
So this is a pretty unique opportunity to be able to go fishing in our own backyard. We're coming up on August and September, and that's when salmon fishing generally peaks in Puget Sound and Central Sound, or what we call South Sound. So today we're out fishing in Area 11, and we caught a few nice Chinook and a little resident coho. In the next few months, these areas will be at their peak. Chinook will peak typically in August. Coho will peak in mid to late September, perhaps even into October. So this is the time of year folks want to get out and fish and enjoy this wonderful opportunity in our own area. A couple places to look for in the next coming months. Sinclair Inlet is open now for Chinook and should be a really good opportunity this year. Elliott Bay is open. It's only open on certain days of the week. Tulalip Bubble is open, and those are really good Chinook opportunities. Area 11 and Area 13 will offer unlimited Chinook fishing. You can have a 2-fish limit down there. You can go any day of the week. Those are our two big fishing areas in August for Chinook, are Areas 11 and 13. That's Tacoma and the Olympia area. Coming up in September for coho, a person would want to fish in Areas 8-1 and 8-2. That's the Everett area. Area 9 between Port Townsend and Seattle, the Seattle area, Area 10. Those will be really good for coho. Even South Sound will have some nice coho opportunities. We do have selective coho down in Area 13, so people want to make sure they check their regulations down there. Some of the opportunities that we have here in Puget Sound are because of our hatchery programs and our mass marking programs. And those allow us to fish selectively for hatchery fish while at the same time protecting endangered species, specifically Chinook in this case. People want to make sure they look at the regulations and find out whether they're able to keep any fish or whether only the hatchery fish are allowed to be kept. Especially Areas 7, 5, and 6, and 13 all have selective fishing going on in the summer, mostly for coho. And people need to make sure that they're catching hatchery coho and releasing all the wild coho. Today we were able to find a nice little resident coho out there. These things run about 2 to 3 pounds. They're usually really terrific eating. They fit on the grill just right. They've been eating a lot of crustaceans, shrimp, euphausiids, those sorts of animals, and they're just tasty as can be. And most people don't go out after them, but they're just a real neat fish as a bonus on top of your Chinook if you happen to catch a Chinook and you have a nice coho. So grab your fishing license, get your gear, head out into Puget Sound, go salmon fishing, enjoy this beautiful water body that we have here in Washington and what makes us Washingtonians.
From our science page, a genetically unique stock of rainbow trout is being preserved in Northeast Washington, thanks to a community-supported spawning facility on a remote lake.
The trap is made up of 2 concrete vaults. They're roughly 1,200 gallons apiece. We have a 3-horsepower pump that pumps water out of the lake from 10 to 12 feet deep in the lake to maintain our colder water temperatures. The water is pumped into the traps, into the tanks, and we have a aluminum ladder that runs out of the trap. That's the entryway. When the water flows out, the sound and the turbulence of the water attracts the fish at spawning time. They swim up the ladder into the trap, and there we can access them. During the spawning process, we take the fish out, we net the fish out of the trap, and we put them in an anesthesia, which doesn't put them to sleep per se, but they're awake, but they can't move. And that makes it easier to spawn them. It makes it easier on the fish and easier on us. Then once the eggs are taken and there's a good number in the spawning pan, and the males have been used to fertilize them, then Jim Ebel, our hatchery manager, he basically cleans them up and puts them in a cooler, and that's how we transport them back to the hatchery. We use that for a recovery room. In other words, we put them in there where there's oxygen in the water, and they're allowed to lay there and recover. And then once they've recovered, then we take them back out in the lake and release them. And they won't be good for respawning probably maybe 3 to 4 years. These are special fish because they are indigenous to the Upper Columbia in this area, and their range is quite a bit smaller now than it was historically. We're concerned that if we keep putting coastal or non-native rainbow stocks into streams and lakes in this area, that can affect streams and wild populations, that we may lose that redband genetics. So that in the future, if it's determined that there is a significant problem with the populations of redband in the area, we do have this, I don't want to use the term zoological garden of fish, but it is a way to maintain the genetics of these fish.
Western Washington has only a small amount of the unique prairie habitat that hasn't already been lost to development or invasive plant species. One of the worst of these species is tall oak grass. Steps are being taken to control its spread before it completely takes over the Scatter Creek wildlife area.
Tall oak grass has been in the environment here for quite some time, for at least 15 or 20, maybe 30 years. However, the last few years it's really started to spread, and we're not exactly sure why. So one of the things we want to do is to look at ways of controlling the spread of tall oak grass here, try to find some inexpensive, efficient ways to address the control of it, and maybe use a combination of mowing, herbicide application, and maybe some burning to control the spread and knock it back a bit. Well, Scatter Creek is one of a handful of grasslands in pretty high quality condition in the South Puget Sound area, and it's an area that is home to a number of different unique organisms here. We have a lot of unique invertebrates, and one of the groups we've studied here are the butterflies. And we have a number of butterfly species here that are found only on these South Puget Sound grasslands. The Mardon skipper, which is one of our endangered species in Washington, is found in this area. And the Mardon skipper does not like the tall oak grass. The Mardon skipper flies up to it and decides that that doesn't like the oak grass. It turns around and heads the other direction. And so as the oak grass spreads throughout the prairie, it creates less and less habitat for that Mardon skipper. The other thing that the oak grass is doing is degrading the overall quality of the habitat and reducing the abundance of some of our unique and interesting native plants. Scatter Creek is used by a lot of people. A lot of people come to walk their dogs. We have pheasant hunting in the fall here. We have some small dog training exercises here. We have a lot of groups that come down to Scatter Creek. We have Audubon Society, we have the Native Plant Society. We have researchers from universities coming down here to study this area. It's quite a wide diversity of interests. Our goal here at Scatter Creek is to try to maintain this habitat in as natural a condition as possible for future people to come and enjoy the unique plants and animals that live here.
A great bargain is the agency's vehicle use permit, which allows you to use 625 WDFW recreational access sites statewide. You get the permit with your fishing or hunting license, or you pay just $10 for an entire year. Too many non-payers are letting the payers foot the entire bill. So you'll see our enforcement officers now issuing tickets for those who choose not to pay their fair share.
The $10 fee that's used to purchase the decal goes back to maintaining and improving the access areas. A lot of the access areas have a lot of litter. The $10 goes to hire summer help to clean up the accesses where we get most of the use during the summer. And that $10 is well used. The $10 covers the whole family for the vehicle. It needs to be displayed on the vehicle, visible to an officer, and it's an excellent idea to just get the decal. It's well worth the money, and it'll save you in the long run from a court cost and a $66 fine.
You have 625 different wildlife accesses that you can go to that the state provides. Essentially, by putting on your vehicle allows you to enter into these areas and fish, pleasure boat, sightsee, bird watching, reading your book, just any area that allows you to come in here with the Department of Fish and Wildlife vehicle use permit. You can come in here and just have a good time with your family, and at $10 is the best deal in town. During the summer months, we start to see more and more folks coming in not having the permit, and I think it's just because the weather becomes warm. They want to go out to the lake and they find the nearest access point, and they come out and just fail to have it. But our officers are out there patrolling our accesses and issuing citations and verbal warnings and written warnings. The message is being sent, and as the years go on and we continue to put up signs and educate folks through our pamphlet and our outreach programs, people are understanding that they do need the vehicle use permit to access our sites.
The Lakewood Police Department works very closely with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and while the Department of Fish and Wildlife has primary jurisdiction here at this boat ramp, the entrance lies within the city of Lakewood. We partner together with the Department of Fish and Wildlife, make sure that we have a safe boating environment, recreational environment for all the citizens that use this.
Here's some information you might find useful during the next few weeks. This has been Wild About Washington, brought to you by the employees of the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Working together, we can keep Washington's outdoor heritage for future generations. Thank you for watching, and please join us again.